Hello everyone. I mentioned in a previous video that I was going to have a short update of my farm once when springtime came around. Got my Harrow tractor and heavy Harrow serviced up and they're ready to roll. We're going to get started out of my 355 acres oat stubble out there outside the yard. Got the drill dragged out of the shed and my 9150 getting it serviced up. Needed some TLC, found a leak under the rear diff. And just put some new bushings in those casters. So you can see there. Kind of a greasy mess right now, but that's all right. It'll get cleaned up. I have a tow between tank still in my shed over there that I have to get dragged out and get hooked on. Hoping to be rolling towards the end of the week. Be putting in canola. This is my new to me rock picker. I've got an old Schulte over here, just on the other side of my Farmall. And there's no parts for the sucker. It's ground drive. Perhaps some of you are familiar with them. But there's a hub. The hub that goes to the wheel, well, there's a chain that goes to a sprocket in the back of it to turn it. And it's all cattywampus. He keeps throwing the chain. And I called Schulte, and Schulte said there's no parts for anything ground drive anymore. So a neighbor told me that he had this old Dagelman ground drive for sale, and he says, $1,000, it's yours. And I came and dragged it out of the mud with this old 48 Farmall. A little backstory on this tractor. My grandfather bought it brand new the year he came home from the Second World War. He was in Holland, and they kept him there till 48. And when he came home in the very same week, he married my grandmother, and he bought this tractor. And due to the sentimental value, we've kept it around. There's Lord only knows how many hours are on it. It had broke a lot of acres in this country with steel wheels on the back and a one-way disc. But anyway, it's going to outlive me for sure. And I just came back from Manitoba a few days ago, and I bought my first high-clearance sprayer. Those of you that watch South Sask Farmer, he has a similar model, this 2 Series newer and a little bit bigger. This is a 3640. And I'm just over the moon to have it. It's a fine addition to my farm. I've been hiring my in-crop spraying out up until this point. And I have to resurrect this old Burgo ground sprayer that I'm going to use for burn-off to keep some hours off my high clearance, and I'll be off to the races in a short order. Little tour of my yard. Got my closet and my cold storage attached to my shop. My water tanker that I got from a good friend of mine holds 1,000 gallons, and I got it for $100. So that's not so bad. Got a chem handler for it in auction, and this will be my sprayer unit. Pull it with my 1 ton. So continuing my tour of the yard here. It's a rather long walk. I'll just do some zooming in. That's a 39-foot case 5600 deep till that I was previously using for deep banding and hydrous. But I'm moving up in the world. I bought a Burgo 42-foot 9200 deep till for anhydrous. So this 39-footer will be up for sale if anybody's looking. I rebuilt all the trip assemblies on it. It's good to go now. Just wanted a Burgo, being that I'm so close to the Burgo factory out here. My father was a much larger farmer than I am, so I've got bins galore for the acres I have to cover. I'd rent some of them out, actually. And that's the last tractor from my father's career before he retired. And this is my 9150. Just put new rubber on it last fall. Quite happy with that. They look nice. That was money well spent. Continue into the far side of the yard. Those of you that watch South Sask Farmer and Rockin' Robbie's Roadhouse, they were in my yard here this past winter. They bought some tires from me. It's good to meet those guys, and nice of them to Rob to give me a little shout out in one of his videos. I picked up some viewers from that. It was all right. It's a tandem, so remnants of my father's career. Love that old truck. It's a 1994 Freightliner FLD 112. This L10 Cummins 330E and a 10-speed. Works wonderfully for me. I'm actually going to put a pintle hitch on it here at the end of the month from CIM and might get a little pup for it. Make fewer trips to the elevator. And if anybody's looking for a 388 Peterbilt with a pack car and an 18-speed, 46 rears and 4-way locks, 24.5 rubber. It's a 2015 truck, I do believe. This one is for sale. My father owns it, another remnant of his career. On my scale, I can't afford to buy this sucker, so I told him to liquidate it and I'll find something cheaper. The trailer yet, I think we're going to keep. I'm going to make a long-term loan on it if I can, but this truck can go. It served its purpose for me for a couple of years here, but I simply can't afford to have it. I'll talk to you in a few. Once I'm out in the field picking rocks today. I've got rocks galore that I'm going to take that old Farmall out with and hopefully get it cleaned up so I can take the harrow out without just beating it to pieces. See you in a bit. I figured I'd show a little startup with this old Farmall, show how nice it runs. She roars to life. Got a homemade hydraulic pump kit that my old man fabricated up. Belt drive, so drive. And handy for the dozer blade and the rock picker. And we're off. Time to go to the field. About 5 miles to the field, and this thing goes all of about, I don't know, maybe 14 miles an hour on the road. I know it's not real fast, but on this old beast, it's mildly terrifying. It really feels like you're flying due to the primitive nature of it. I'll quit filming here because this thing requires 2 hands to keep control of it on the road, and I'll bring you back once I'm in the field. Set up with the ground drive here, got the chain hooked on. Neighbor's dog came to visit me. I'd never met this dog before, but it's pretty darn nice. Isn't that right? I don't know what your name is, but you're a sweetheart. Yep. Pretty nice dog. Well, we're ready to roll. Time to spend the next few hours picking rocks through this. Field's cut in half by a creek, or I shouldn't say in half. It's 155 acres. On this side of the creek, there's about 30-ish acres, depending on the year. Along there's a very slight ridge just before those trees, and there's enough rocks there to fill this picker probably 10 times. It's just terrible. But I guess I better go clean that mess up and say goodbye to this nice doggy. I'll show you how this picker works. When I start moving, that chain will get driven from the ground wheel, and then the bats will pick up that rock and drag it up the ramp. Just lowering it a bit here. Again, forward. And into the box it goes. Now just keep on going back and forth down the field. About 80 feet at a time-ish. These are 39 feet passes from the chisel plow, and maybe that way I won't miss any rocks. So of course, if I miss one, my luck will find it. Update on the field conditions. Last fall, I deep banded a hydrus when the ground was really quite hard, and my chisel plow was on 12-inch spacing. I don't know if you can tell, but the ground is not super even. So good feedback. So I'm going to come back here with the harrow after I'm done picking rocks and hopefully smooth out the ground, lick them more even. Because there'd be, I don't know, maybe probably 4 inches between the highs and lows from the furrows made from the chisel plow. Well, 3 or 4 inches is quite a bit when you're seeding canola at a depth of maybe an inch. And of course, uniformly spreading straw is always a good thing too. We have lots of moisture here though. Just scratching the surface and I'm down. That's moisture. It's we're in pretty good shape here. Look, it's looking good. Now there's a number of rather large rocks in this field. You can see some of them sticking out there. We dug them out with a rock claw, but I missed some. Here's an example. I know it doesn't look like much, but this rock could easily be the size of a Volkswagen under the ground. Just don't know till you dig it up, and then of course you got a crater to fill in. Fun and games, fun and games. As mighty as the old Farmall is, I don't think it's gonna get this boulder out of the ground. Not today. Well, I'll continue on. Oh, I see something green here. Weed spraying will have to start soon. I see some green stuff. So, trying to get a little boulder, digging some of the larger rocks out. I can actually hook them with the lip of the picker and slowly yank them out. As you can see, we've got pretty soft, wet ground. I just spun just a little bit, and this stuff it's wet. You can pack it into a ball, but it's pretty good soil. It's very black. Not looking forward to all those huge rocks sitting on the surface. That might be some manual lifting, a bit too much for the old picker. Guess we'll see. Well, I thought I filmed all these big rocks going into the picker, but I took a photo rather than a video. So I'll try and get this big one here on film. I got the rock picker quite full. I figure I'll dump it next to these other boulders I took off the field. It's a little slow, but it doesn't drink. Taken off with this picker since I've owned it, and so far I'm quite happy with it. I'm going to try and get that big sucker up there next. Maybe I'll get it on film. around the field, up and down the rows, looking for rocks, some big, some small. I'm generally trying to pick rocks about baseball size and larger, up to boulders. If I come across something real big, I guess I'll have to come back with the case magnum with front and loader and borrow my neighbor's old rock claw. But so far this is working pretty good today. Well, I just got back to the yard here from finishing stone picking on that 1/4. The rest are too wet to get to right now. And I came back, and I guess my old man took the Magnum and the heavy harrow, and he's going to give the home 3/4 a crack just outside the yard there. And now I'm going to unhook the 9150 from the drill and go drag the air tank out of the shed and see how close I can get to line them up. Kind of a two-man job hooking the toe between onto the front of the drill. It would take an awful long time of getting in and out to not slam the tank into the hitch of the drill. That would really not make my day. Well, I'm gonna get this sucker started up. This is one of the nicest starting tractors that have ever graced this farm. It is awful similar to Rockin' Robbie's 9250. This is a 9150, same engine though. Both have an L10 Cummins. I got some wires to hide there, but that's all right. I'll get to that eventually. Just starts nice. Little cab tour. I have an Outback Rebel GPS with integrated auto steer. It's my 591 Margot monitor. Cameras for the air tanks. It's a PTO and power shift tractor, and I even got the little auxiliary light bar to help me line up my next pass. Love that power shift. This works awesome. I'll bring you back once I'm hooked onto the air tank. I'm sure that's going to take two hands. I'll bring you back after I'm hooked up. This is my Burgo 5350 air tank. I run single chute because I banned my anhydrous in the fall. That's my nitrogen. I like this tank. I paid a little too much for it, but it does the trick. Sure looks good on that tractor though. Yep. Just need my old man back from the field and we'll get it all hooked up together. Thought I'd come out to the field and get some footage of my old man. That's a 60-foot Burgo heavy harrow. Been pulled by a case magnum. It's about 280 horse. Works pretty good. He likes that tractor. This is oat stubble. It's a very, very strong crop last year, so there's a ton of straw to contend with. So we heavy harrowed it twice last fall, and now we're going at it again. I don't think we'll have any problems now plugging with the drill, but better to be safe than sorry. Suppose that better move. Oat dust is rather itchy. I'm on my old Honda trike here. This old Honda will likely outlive me. You cannot kill it. See if I can run him down on the Harrow. Just tickling the ground. Helps to spread the straw, spread the dirt, make the field a little smoother for a more uniform seed bed. I get him to wave, but I don't think he can hear me. That's all right. Way there, but I'm sure he doesn't mind. Oh, he's making a strike out across the field now. So he's making an A-B line with his GPS, and we can set up his auto steer and just keep covering ground, flying along at 8 to 10 miles an hour. I'll see if I can't jump in the cab with him and get some footage from in there. So you can see where he is harrowed. He's harrowed there and where he hasn't yet. See the difference in the straw? It's really worked up and spread out, and the field is much smoother where the harrow has been. Nice and smooth. Just like a carpet. Very uniform and very smooth. Jumped in the cab with my dad here. Using 60-ish% power at 9 miles an hour. Got the auto steer engaged. Well, I hope you enjoyed my first half-decent video today. Like and subscribe for more. I'm going to try and keep it coming throughout the season.